The peacetime United States Army of 1851 consisted of 8 regiments of infantry, 4 of artillery, 2 of dragoons, 1 of mounted riflemen. Each infantry regiment had 10 companies. In November of 1851, the left wing of the 5th Infantry, 5 companies, fully 6% of the entire United States infantry, were sent to establish a post on the Clear Fork of the Brazos River at a place known as Phantom Hill. I was with the feller and the ghost pushed him away from me. Yeah, his name was John. Hello, John, I'm back. Nothing was easy for the soldiers assigned to build this fort. They had marched from places as far away as Fort Smith in Arkansas and Fort Gibson in Indian Territory to get to the gathering place at Fort Belknap, Texas, led by Colonel John J. Abercrombie. The soldiers began marching southwest from Fort Belknap on November 6, 1851. Colonel John Abercrombie is the same John that I'm speaking of in the previous clip with the ghost story. That is cool looking right there. That's weird. It's haunted out here as shit. We come in peace, we mean you no harm. We just wanted to come see how you used to live. There ain't really nothing this way, is there? Well, there's a wagon over. Oh, that's a good shot. I see it. Oh, look at the little one behind it. What? Whew. Hello, rattlesnakes. What did I wear these shoes for? I would really like to record this. The cactus are loaded with plums. Look at all those. You can eat those. You can make jelly. They used to make dyes back in the old days. All kinds of stuff. Several officers, including Colonel Abercrombie, had brought their families. The soldiers' first task was to set up canvas tents to house the officers and their wives. The tents were surrounded with fences made from brush. One letter said the soldiers spent their time digging, chopping, sawing, hauling, and pulling. Constructing the fort with help from 2 carpenters, a blacksmith, and a stonemason. Winter was coming to the southern plains, and building the quarters was important. During the first month, soldiers started more permanent housing than the tents. The lack of materials limited what could be built. The soldiers' quarters had dirt floors and roofs made of thatched grass gathered from the surrounding prairie. The packed dirt was hard to keep clean, especially during times of rain. The dusty floors served as a home for ants, snakes, and other vermin. The grass roofs were no better. The thatch got wet during rains and began to rot and smell. The roofs also were a good home for spiders and other insects. The dry grass roofs were a serious fire hazard. Blacksmith shop. Creepy. Kind of creepy. Bakery. Looks like they all had below grounds. Probably had to in that extreme heat and cold. The only way you could survive, man. Wow. You must be having an air show somewhere. I don't even know if it's catching them. Wow.
That's cool.
The weather made life at Fort Phantom Hill even more difficult to endure. In the winter, the severe northers blew in with freezing temperatures. The heat in the summer was often over 100 degrees. There was never enough rain, and often not enough grass to feed the horses and cattle at the fort. There were hailstorms and tornadoes in the spring and fall, ice and snow in the winter, and the wind seemed to never stop blowing. Nearly all supplies had to be brought to Fort Phantom Hill from several hundred miles by wagon, and often arrived late, if at all. The soldiers were as hungry as the animals. This tree. There was rarely enough to eat, and the men were often in the hospital from poor nutrition. Nearly every soldier and officer stationed at the fort was sent to the hospital at least once. The clothing was outdated and in poor condition like the rest of the equipment. The water near the fort was full of minerals and tasted bad. Good water had to be hauled from a small spring 4 miles away. A deep well was dug at the fort compound, but it often ran dry. In 1853, life at the fort began to change. A wagon was attacked by a Comanche. Jane Wilson was taken captive, and the wagon driver scalped and left for dead. Wilson escaped the Comanche and hid until she was finally rescued by traders.
Texas flag. Texas, our Texas.
On April 4, 1854, Gibbons gave the order for his troops to abandon the fort and declared it done. Gibbons gave the order for the fort to be burned to the ground. Fort Phantom Hill, the sentinel on the prairie, was severely damaged by the fire, but continued to be used for decades as a gathering point for the Butterfield stage, cowboys, and cattle herds on the Goodnight Loving Trail, buffalo hunters, and traders. U.S. Army mounted patrols from Forts Concho and Griffin, and finally the citizens of a small town.